So there's this video of Hassan, right? Oh my God. Once again, why is the Twitter video quality? Elon, bro, fix your shit, okay? Fix it. And it's Hassan Blaze Asmongold for the rise of right-wing sentiment, permeating. Hey, what's up, Mr. J? How are you? Permeating throughout the streaming world, implies his status as the biggest political streamer, makes people comfortable speaking up in that direction.
Natural being part of the deplatforming campaign, etc. I know this is drama, but I wanted to make people and well-meaning streamers who I like aware, like Mike from PA and others. Right-wing streamer radicalization. Step 1, go to Hassan's house. Step 2, get divorced. Step 3, watch Asmongold once.
I'm not too bad. I'm doing good.
No, I promise you two things. One, if there wasn't such a fucking high density of hogs that were looking for hog content, right-wing content, what the fuck's going on my camera today? If there wasn't such a high density of hogs that were like literally looking desperately for some kind of hog content on Twitch, which led to a massive amount of people gravitating towards Asmongold and Asmongold getting like fucking 50K every day doing right-wing commentary, none of these motherfuckers would do this, okay? They just wouldn't.
Is that a problem though?
For a lot of people, it's not like a genuinely held perspective. For many of them, they just don't care. It comes from a place of like, I don't really give a shit.
Well, no one really cares. The only thing people care about is themselves. That's how it's always been. Everyone, most people, if not everyone, only cares about themselves and their own opinions. That's the thing as well, is that people only care about their own opinions. They don't care about other people's opinions.
I don't really necessarily give a shit
about... Just like
Hassan.
Hassan. He only cares about his opinions. He doesn't care about other people's
politics, but I see that this is like getting clout. And the perfect example I can give you is when the most prominent voice of politics on the platform before this last round was myself. Back then, did you think that every single streamer was hyper woke? I mean, there are plenty of streamers who were, but there were a lot of streamers who didn't necessarily give a shit, but basically played ball with that kind of politics. I think a lot of people...
But you have to remember that last time around, like 4 years ago, right, is that I would say people weren't as, radicalized on the left as well. Like left-wing politics wasn't as radicalized as it was as right-wing is now. Things have become a lot more radicalized over the last 4 years too. You have to remember that.
Because we're so...
And because of that, because left-wing became more radicalized, that pushed people away from that side. Exact same with the right. Some people who, the right became radicalized and also pushed people away from there. You've just had a lot of swapping. Just the only thing is that you've had a lot more people leave the left side of politics and move over to the right than vice versa over the last 4 years. People change their opinions all the time.
Intentional and so hyper aware of politics, assume that content creators and their fucking communities of rather apolitical people don't just like swing in every direction simply because, that gains them more prominence. Okay? That is it.
All I get from this is this point right here.
Platform before this last round was myself. The most prominent voice of politics on the platform before this last round was myself.
That's what it is. That's all this has been. Like, Hassan has done nothing whatsoever but cry about Asmongold being higher viewers than him for weeks now. That's it. He has done nothing but whinge and cry about how much Asmongold has been higher views than him. And he's blaming Asmon, and he's saying that like, Asmon's radicalizing these people, a few years ago, people wouldn't have thought this. That's probably true. A few years ago, that's why, you saw in America, obviously this is like got to do with more American politics, but I would say that this is like, it's not really just American politics, it's a lot of the rest of the world as well, is that like, I would say 4 or 5 years ago, a lot more people did have a lot more like left-winged views, but especially because of things like COVID. COVID was a big thing that kind of like, made people step away from left-wing politics, made them get away from that. And also because of the radicalization of left-wing politics as well, and the whole ideological politics too, when it comes to, you know, the whole ideology and all that stuff about how they view themselves, you know, the radicalization of the LGBT community and how that's just like completely gone away from what it like initially was and all that stuff, is that a lot of people have moved away from that. People change their opinions all the time. So yes, people have gone away from the left wing, and all it is that Hasan is just sitting here, and it's like he's trying to blame someone, where if anything, he should be blaming himself as one of those people. Because to be honest, I used to actually not mind Hasan a few years ago. I like no joke, I always knew that he was left wing, but I would say that he's become more radicalized, and he's definitely more of that radical left person, to the point where he pretty much believes and he like will live and die by anything the left puts out, no matter what it is, and anything the right puts out, he will like go against that just because of that's how it is. And people don't like that. People have started to step away from stuff like that. And people watch Asmongold because as much as Hasan likes to say that Asmongold is a radical right person, he's not. I watch Asmongold on the daily. I watch him a lot. And a lot of the points that Asmon brings up and a lot of the views that he has is actually, some of his views are deemed as left-wing. Without a doubt, like, he's very positive towards people in the LGBT community. He has talked about how, like, he believes that, you know, people that are adults and are trans should go ahead and, you know, if you're an adult and you are a guy and you want to transition to a girl, you can do that. He's just against, like, you know, kids transitioning, which I think is absolutely fine. But when it comes to adults, he's absolutely fine with that. He's fine with people being gay. He's fine with people being lesbian. He's fine with this. Like, it's just the radicalization of the left that he doesn't necessarily like. And then he's also criticized stuff on the right too. He made a video a few days ago literally criticizing the way that Donald Trump is dealing with the whole entire situation in Ukraine, and how he's been very critical and lied about Zelensky's approval rate.
This is, in many ways, no different than when Elon Musk hits the fucking Sig Heil, other people do it too, and it normalizes that kind of attitude. It normalizes that kind of politics. And it's precisely the same thing that's happening here, okay? Asmongold...
And you know what? I'm probably a little bit as well. Like, there's probably things that I believe that would be false.
There's a bunch of...
Without a doubt, there's probably, like, I probably have some kind of fucking brainwashing.
And he's popping off other content.
We all like to think that we are free thinking, but one way or another, I think that almost all of us have been radicalized one way or another, especially over the last few years.
Content creators see that, as I've told you before.
You generally like Hasan, but he has been brainwashed. Like I said, a few years ago, I didn't mind him, but I think he's gotten so bad, and that's why people have started to go away from him, and he's blaming Asmon. He's blaming, like, oh, Asmon's the reason why people are going right-wing. No,
they
it's
respond to it. They see that, and they go, ooh, I can get in on this as well.
What's wrong with that, though? Hasan does the exact same thing. When Hasan says things and people hop on it, he wants people to follow what he says. So why is he critiquing Asmon saying something against these people? You know, because I watched this whole video with Asmon, and I thought it was, these people are absolute ridiculous and insane, and they're doing a misservice towards the LGBT community, right? Like, what Asmon is saying, people agree with him, right? What's wrong with Amaranth agreeing with what Hasan's saying and hopping on that boat? Hasan does the exact same thing. You want people to do the same thing.
Have you ever considered that some of these people aren't grifting and that they actually do have the Hitlerian dog in them? It doesn't matter. Whether they're grifting or not doesn't fucking matter. You can have a dude who has like unhinged fucking politics, but ultimately their output is what is most important here, okay?
But you have unhinged political views too.
Okay?
He does.
If they have unhinged politics privately, it's usually going to come out. But what matters is what they're saying, because they're content creators. They have platforms, they have influence, they have prominence, they have audience members who love them. They have audience members who will be swayed by their attitude. Okay? I don't give a shit if they're genuinely, in this regard, I don't give a shit if they're genuinely on board with these politics, or if they're just...
He's literally speaking about... It's like he's critiquing himself. Hasan, you do the exact same thing. You come on your stream, you have radical opinions, and you want people to agree with you. You do the exact same thing. He does the same shit. He wants people to agree with him. He has radical opinions. He says them, but it's like he comes out and he's like, no, I don't. It's like he lies about it. And then he projects. All this is legit. Hassan is jealous of Asmon having more viewers. That's all it is. That's it. But it's just like people are starting to, because of the, like we said, because of the radicalization of the left, it's pushed a lot of people towards the right. And Hassan's just making up all these excuses. And he's just mad that he's not getting many viewers anymore. He's averaging 27,000 viewers while Asmon's been averaging 44,000. That's all it is. It's just jealousy. That's all this whole fucking thing has been with Hassan. And it's funny because his words are hypocritical. The things he has said, it's like he's criticizing himself.